Abigail's face was full of mockery. Her eyes cold. Ada, you married Milton, you two only slept together that one night, Sunshine. He has never touched you. Actually that night it wasn't even Milton in your bed. It was his cousin Alfred. Every word Abigail said cut through Lee like a knife. Lee stared at Abigail. Utterly shocked. And do you know, Abigail sneered? Let's was Milton your husband? Who got Alfred drunk and asked him to your wedding bed. A proud man like Milton could never marry a murderer like you. Especially since you had given birth to another man's child. Abigail went on. Lee, you were just a tool to Milton from the start. No. Lee shook her head violently, trembling all over. You're lying. Really? Doesn't it seem strange? Who would dare kill Milton's son? And why were you sent to a place like this, with no hope of escape? Abigail taunted. And now you've fallen so low. What would Elle gain by lying to you? No way. Elle Milton's wife. I'm his legal wife. Lee shouted. Her eyes wide and voice hoarse, she dug her fingers into the ground, making them bleed. Unless he comes here and tells me himself, Elle won't believe you. Enraged, Abigail slapped Lee hard, then spat. You're finished. Don't you get it? Even now, you still want to be Mrs. Andrews. You're such a bitch. Abigail raised her hand, noticing the blood on her ruby ring. The gem was so sharp that it cut Lee's face when Abigail slapped her. With a cruel smile, Abigail said, You know, always hated your pretty face. I've been wanting to ruin it for so long. She then slashed Lee's face several times with the ringlia, got close to you to take your place in everything you had. Abigail laughed. You were once called a genius and now you stuck in a psych ward, bullied by everyone. How pathetic. Abigail laughed wildly, swinging her hand again and again. Lee's face was covered in wounds, blood streaming down. She glared at Abigail with wide eyes. Lee deeply regretted ever curing Abigail's cancer and letting her stay close. Without that had the chance to get involved with Milton. Seeing Lee's face now a mess of scars, Abigail raised her ringed hand with satisfaction with a smile. Sell to this ring, beautiful. Milton had it custom made. Costing over $20 million. Then she added, Here's some good news. He proposed to me. And I'm 18 weeks pregnant. It's starting to show. Abigail gently caressed her slightly rounded belly. Milton cares a lot about this baby. He wants this child to be the heir to Andrew's group. Once you're dead, he and all can get Marie. Abigail had come here today to kill Lee. Thanks to you, Andrew's group has become what it is today. Abigail laughed. Look at you. You don't still think Alfred will come save you, do you? That's impossible. Is Alfred dead yet? Lee's mind was foggy, but Abigail's words snapped her back to reality. What? How could a liar be dead? Lee gasped in shock. Because of you? Abigail explained with a smug look. 18 months ago, you were dying from heart failure. You wanted to live for your unborn child, but the doctors couldn't find a suitable heart. Alfred's heart was a perfect match, so he killed himself to donate it to you. Upon hearing this, Lee suddenly spat out a mouthful of blood. Collapsing to the ground, her heart feeling like it was tearing apart. Do you know who gave you the chemical that caused your heart failure? Abigail's smile a weakness. That was me. And do you know why the doctors couldn't find a suitable heart donor for you? Me again? Abigail continued. Alfred really loved you. For you, he gave up his position as the unransomly heir and then chose to end his life. At this, jealousy consumed Abigail. She had loved Alfred, but he was willing to die for Lee. She wiped the blood from her ring. Looking down at Lee with disdain, she ordered Hurlike, bring in the hounds. Finish this cleanly and leave no traces. Yes. The man nodded.